All right, guys, you should see us on a absolutely new stream. Hopefully, you guys will come
Right.
right on over. I apologize. You're live streaming, so guess what? Things happen sometimes. Way you handle those things is to, you get off the what you call get off the horse. You try to jump right back on the horse, and we are back on inside of Ecamm. So what Paul is going to do is go back to the old stream, put in the comments. He's going to give you the link, and everybody come right back over. So hopefully you'll be able to see this really, really soon. Okay, people are coming over. Richard, I see you. I see you, Tech Troublemaker. Thank you guys for coming back in. Man, yes. Hello again, Mr. Camera Jockey. And yes, we're here. We're here. We're here. Yes, we're all here. We're all here. Great. Let me move this around.
Much fun.
Yes, tons of fun. Like if you get into this and you have to find ways to enjoy it. And I absolutely love it, to be honest with you, Paul. So I did live radio, Paul, for a very long time, and things like this would happen, and you just have to figure out, what to do, how to talk through it. We were
Yep.
having breaking news throughout the day. Guess what? You got to talk about the breaking news. You got to figure out how to be able to communicate on the fly, and it's a part of the business. Now, for everybody that's coming back or watching this in the replay, hopefully you'll be able to connect from one link to the next. This is how you handle the stream. You work from behind the scenes and as fast as you can to get the other stream up, and then you go live and you continue the conversation. The audience is coming. You guys are already coming back on, already have 3 likes, and we haven't even done anything yet.
Now this is also one place where moderators come in handy, because when something like this happens, the moderators can kind of let people know that there's technical problems. We're working on it, trying to keep them engaged so they don't just go off and leave. So you can tell them that you're going to start a new stream. You're going to be posting the link back in there, but you can keep engaging those people during the technical problems so that they don't leave completely, because sometimes in situations like that, they don't know what's going on. They just think it ended and they just go away and they don't come back.
Right.
But by having moderators engaging with them and kind of letting them know what's going on, there's still communication going in there while the content creator is trying to uh, fix it on the back end.
So this is what happens, Paul. The content creator, hosts like myself, are doing double duty just like the moderators. So moderators are trying to do comments, they're trying to look at this. He has 3 screens going on. Well, guess what? I have a couple of things that I'm trying to do here as well. So I'm the host and also the remote producer or the producer of the show. So having another hand to help you through the show, it just makes a difference. I mean, not only do you have the confidence of someone being there with you, Paul, but you also really get somebody there with you that can handle a whole nother part of the stream. Because if I had to kind of figure out, troubleshoot, talk to the audience, those 2 things that I'm doing. I'm troubleshooting and talking. So people may not know the whole time we were off, guess what? I was still talking because I didn't know whether I was live or not. So
Yep.
I had to continue to communicate like someone was watching. And you want to do that as you troubleshoot. And then, thank God, Mr. Moderator is here. And with all the professionalism, he's talking to me, he's looking at the studio, and he's communicating to the people that may have been on the last stream waiting on us to come back. Paul, that is awesome.
Trying
That
to keep
is
things
awesome.
running.
Yes, so Tech Troublemaker says you're not supposed to hit the red button. I apologize, I hit the red button. So we
Yeah,
do
it
have
wasn't
some.
me.
Yeah, I'm sure it was me. So, yeah, appreciate this stream. I'm a moderator for several talk shows. I'm gaining a lot from this discussion. So, thank you so very much. It is our goal to help everybody through this. Michelle, thank you for hanging out with us today. It's very hard when I have to moderate 2 live streams at the same time. Now, that's tough. Paul, has that ever happened to you where you had to kind of go back and forth between 2 shows?
Yes. Your stream and usually India Delgado will stream right after your stream, so she usually comes on for my time. You come on at 4 and she comes on at 5. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not always moderating yours because I have that going on.
Okay.
But Doc does this too. It's like I get these two back-to-back streams, they're overlapping. I always go onto the stream early to kind of interact with people and say hi and all this stuff. And so if I have 2 back-to-back streams like that, I am literally doing double duty. I have 2
Wow.
streams going on. I'm hearing it in my 2 streams in my head. Um, I guess I've adapted to hearing 2 things at once because I can kind of sorta kind of follow things. But yeah, it can get a little hairy at times.
That's awesome. And it's cool that you could do that. And I would tell anybody, if you don't have the personality type that can handle the stress of going live, is it either something that you work on because you really want to work it being better, or just don't do this because it can be tough sometimes trying to do all the things you need to do and keep your cool. But if you're experienced and you work and you practice this, it is I like it. I like it gets my heart rate up. So I kind of like it. That being said, I want to be sure that you get value. And I had a couple of questions for Paul. We were actually starting down with the importance of a moderator. We did it in real time, showing you the importance of a moderator. Guys, having somebody else on your stream, Paul has already said it, to kind of help you through. It's Batman and Robin today, okay? Normally he would be off the screen. And I do like the setup, Paul. I have to say this, the setup that Doc does with the Discord. Are you sometimes actually on another computer live and actually seeing him while his show is going on?
Yes. I have Discord running on, my main computer too, but I have it muted so it doesn't feed back into the group. But when I'm on that, I'm hearing Doc live in Discord real time. And then I'm also watching the YouTube stream to make sure it's okay. And I have it at a lower value, but I'm hearing things twice. I'm hearing Doc live and then a little bit of a delay. It's coming in on the Facebook group. So, but yeah,
Wow.
we and my cat Maestro is making an appearance, so your his tail's moving around.
I see it. No problem at all. Let me ask you this question. When you guys started doing that, did it help for his show with the moderation when you're able to actually see him and you guys can kind of talk behind the scenes?
Yeah, it was because I used to text him if there was a problem or something like that, and he might not see it or might not be paying attention to it. So the Discord helped because I can tell him your mic is muted, or the stream's something's going wrong in the stream or something like that. Or I've even told him when somebody posted a comment, because when I remove a comment from the stream, it's not being removed from the Ecamm's comment and reaction thing. So I will tell him ignore such and such comment,
Gotcha.
so he knows not to even go there.
Got it. Got it. Because it could distract him, anger him. And, if Doc goes by something that he doesn't, that is not said the exact right way, he can go down that rabbit hole. I get it. I get it. That being said, I love what you guys do. I love hearing him communicate to you, like in the stream, whether it's you or Mr. Camera Junkie and all those guys that are a part of the Discord when you guys are on I just like the idea of having a team of people that's there with you, even though he's streaming to a whole nother group and you're inside of that group as well. It just provides to me so much community. Wouldn't you say
Yep.
so?
Yes. Yeah, and his Discord, originally we had it was just the moderators that were in, and then he opened up Discord as the back channel, so people that are part of his Drop Squad team have access to that channel. They can join on during his live streams and ask him questions live in the background and stuff like that. So it adds a whole new dimension to the stream.
I absolutely love that. So now we're talking about moderation or being a moderator or having a moderator for your live stream. And if you watch both live streams tonight, you'll see how important it really is and how Paul can help. That being said, Paul, you actually have also developed a couple of things to help moderators or help live streamers understand the importance of moderators. And I want to talk about the ban words. So if people are coming in, or I guess let me start with this. Trolls. So trolls inside of live streams are a real thing, correct?
Yes.
So
Usually,
go ahead.
no, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Keep
So
going.
basically, it's someone is actually coming to your stream to distract you or to say something weird. We've had some people with bots that are coming into the stream to kind of get attention and that kind of thing. You've seen it. How often have you seen it in the Ecamm on the Ecamm channel? I guess I'll ask that question first. Trolls inside of the Ecamm YouTube channel in comments.
Almost every stream at some point will have something. Either it's going to be a spam bot posting, crazy stuff, or you get people in that will make a comment that's totally off the wall, and then they start feeding on it. It's like you really have great eyes, or something along that line, and you kind of see that, and it's kind of a red flag to start, paying attention to this person.
Right.
Um, and then it keeps going. And how you handle those is totally up to how the content creator wants you to handle it, because there's two ways you can do it. You can put a person on in YouTube, you can put a person on a timeout. So for 300 seconds, they can't type anything into the comments. They're kind of like put in the corner, so to speak. The
Okay.
other option you have is to hide the person from the channel. Hiding a person from the channel is, it's just not hiding them. It's a major thing. They are getting added to a list that basically says they can never comment on this stream ever again. The other thing
Wow.
that happens is once they're put on that list, within 36 hours, YouTube will go through every video, everything that you've ever posted, and look for that person's comment. And it will remove every single comment that person has ever made from any of your streams, and they will be permanently removed. The other problem is if I hide somebody on the list, the content creator has no idea I have done that. It could be somebody that was a friend of the content creator. They may have some relationship with it. If it's a business, you really have to be careful, because
Right.
those are paying customers of the company, and it's not your place to make that decision. It's the company's responsibility. So what I tell people is, if you ever go down the path where you actually feel like you really need to hide somebody on a channel because they're just getting too disruptive, you've got to tell the content creator that you did this, so that if they, because they're the only one that can go in on the back end and unhide this person and make them available again. And if you don't tell them, they don't know, and it could cause, and has in some situations caused, major problem. So
Wow.
I always recommend on YouTube channels, time the person out, and you may just have to keep timing them out and timing them out and timing them out, and then have a discussion with the content creator later and say, this is the situation, you know just in case you want to handle this, whatever. But you have to be really careful with what you do.
Great tip, Paul. Great tip. I did not know some of that stuff. If you're listening to this and you're learning with me right now, and you have not hit the like button, please do that right now. Hit the like button. Allow us to know that this content is working and you're learning something tonight. That being said, Paul, you also have a checklist, or I want to call it a banned word list. It's not a checklist, it's a
Right.
banned word list that you have developed. Can you explain the concept of banned words?
Yes. I have created and put together from several different sources a list of, it's over 2,100 words, phrases, and variations of words that you can take and download it from my site. Once you purchase it for $10, you can then load it into your blocked word list. And then those words, if somebody types anything with any of those words in it, it's not going to show up in chat. Uh, and it's also variations. So if they kind of play around with the characters and use a special character in there or something like that, it will see that those get shown to the moderators and the content creator for them to make a decision whether they want to, let it go through or they want to block it. But that list is out there. I'll post a link for that one. And it's very explicit. It's got a lot of stuff in there. But with that too, I'm going to give you an example. The word balls or balls hitting is in that list. Now, I've seen that used in streams where you don't particularly want that phrase or to be used. But if you're
Right.
somebody like Healy, who is in sports and people are kicking balls or they're talking about balls, the balls in play, you don't want those words restricted because that's a normal phrase or series of words that, are part of your stream. So,
Right.
you know, if you purchase that list, like I said, it's extremely explicit, but I highly recommend that you kind of go through there just to make sure that there are not words that are being restricted that you may want to have, as part of your stream. Some streams are a little more lax and, a little more colorful. And you may want some of those words in it. So you can control what words you want to have in there and what words you don't. But you just, once you purchase it and download it, you just copy them into your banned word list, and then you can edit it from there. And then I will send out updates to that every so often. If I see new words pop up or something like that that aren't on the list, I send that out to people that have purchased the list.
Because there are very creative people out there, Paul, can come up with a bunch of words to kind of add in. So Stephen Wicks is saying great information. We are here to help, Stephen. The idea of this show today is for live streamers to understand the importance of having a moderator. We've kind of showed it tonight how much you need someone like Paul, but Paul is just sharing. And if you haven't seen it already, I did put the link up. I'll throw it up again. So this is the link to the banned word list. So if you want to just go to that link there and follow the instructions so you can get that word list from Paul. And he's already said that he does do updates to it. So be looking out for updates periodically on that list. And, guess what? YouTube is full of creators. So people are extremely creative sometimes and comes up with ways to get around it. So I'm sure once he finds one of those things, he's adding it to the list. So it is very helpful. Now, we have seen, Paul, what the list does not do. Okay, the list is for banned words inside of the comments. Okay,
Right.
now again, I said people are very creative. Now people are going to the next step and putting the words that they want or the attention that they want inside of the YouTube channel name. I know YouTube is trying its best to be sure that that doesn't happen, but we've seen accounts where this does happen. How do you work through that?
So there's also another thing in YouTube that's called hidden users, and that's like when I was talking about, I can take a comment, I can mark the user and hide them on the channel. Their channel ID gets added to this hidden user list. Hidden user list doesn't work off of the channel name. It works off of a long string of characters called the channel ID. And so in order to add somebody that physically, if you wanted to go in, you'd have to go in, find their channel ID and add that in. So after doing streams, I moderate depending on the week, somewhere between 13 and sometimes 17 streams a week when in a busy time. And so as I see channel IDs coming up where people are, starting to spam, I go in, I remove them, but I also grab those channel IDs. And I
Okay.
also have another thing out there called known spam channel IDs, and that's a subscription service. And so for $5 a month, what you do is when you first purchase it, you get my full list of channel IDs. And then over the course of the week, I grab all the channel IDs that have started spamming or add spam to the channel, like we just had one.
Right.
Um, Hang on just a second. And the crazy thing is, these people
So,
they make
so,
mild little changes.
so live right now, Paul, we actually have a channel name come up. I guess we kind of just talked them up. So I see it in the comments. and it's easy for you to see it in the backgrounds. So if people are watching this, if you're not seeing the live comments, Paul is actually seeing them, and then you can actually do what with these people?
Okay, so I've removed the content in Ecamm's world. We have an agreement, and those I hide from the channel, so they can't post again. What I also do as a moderator, next to the comment, there's three dots. If I click on that, I see something that says go to channel. If I open that up, it will take me to that person's channel, and up in the URL is the channel ID number.
Mm-hmm.
So I will grab that, and then I will take that channel name that was there and plus the channel ID, and I will add that to my list. What that goes out is you can take that channel ID, just the channel ID thing, go into your hidden user list, put that channel ID in, and now that channel would be blocked from your channel. The problem is people keep changing. So the name
Right.
may look the same, but the channel ID is different. So it's the channel ID that drives it, not the channel name. So, people will post for a little bit and then we hide them and then they seem like they're coming back and basically they have another channel. So this is another thing that I came across and thought, how can I delete these because I deal with so many different streams and I'm admins for those streams. So I've started grabbing these and just adding them to those streams. And I thought, well, if I'm doing this for, the people that I'm working with, I'm sure other content creators would like to be proactive
Right.
in getting these things blocked. So that's what I started doing. So that's the other service that I have. It's called the known spammer channel ID list.
Hey guys, I'm sharing this information with you tonight with Mr. Moderator Paul Duncan here so that you could use it on your behalf. Everybody is susceptible at some point or another, some type of troll, some type of bot trying to get into your live stream. Now, I want to tell you from the host perspective, don't get so inquisitive about one of these comments and make a mistake and post it on the stream. Okay, because even though it's in the channel name and they got through YouTube's system where YouTube is trying their best to catch them, if you put it on a stream, now it's part of your content. Okay,
Yep.
now it's part of your content that you're distributing, and you can get a strike because now it's on your stream. Being in the comments is bad enough, but if you take it then from the comments to on the stream, now you're responsible. So I want to
Yep.
be sure you guys hear that, right, Paul?
Yeah. And it's like, these are meant to disrupt your stream. So if these come in and you start talking about it or say anything about it, you've given them what they were trying to do. They have been able to disrupt your stream and cause you to maybe get sidetracked or something like that. So, if they come in, ignore it, don't talk about it, just move on. And it's the same thing with the moderators. When these things come in, a lot of times they, oh, another troll or another spam bot or something like that. Don't
Like
go
one.
there. Just deal with it and move on. The other thing that I would suggest the moderators do, once you've blocked that message, if you click on those three buttons, there's also an option to report. Click on that, click the category. Most time I report it as pornography. And for every single message that has come across, report that to YouTube. And so that way it's on their radar to be able to. And I have seen channels actually get removed because of the reporting and stuff like that. But they're not necessarily going to know if you just, remove the message from the channel, but you don't report it back to YouTube,
Right.
they're getting away with it. So
Thank you for making that point, Paul. Let's do this. Elizabeth asked a great question. I don't understand how these people have time to do this. You want to answer that question? Like the method
sometimes
behind a
it,
troll?
sometimes it's just people just being a pain, but sometimes it's actually bots that are set up that they just go out and ran. It's kind of like the old days with phone calls. you had these machines that were random number dialers. They would just dial a number, hundreds and hundreds of numbers, and in that process, they would get somebody to answer. When they got somebody to answer, they flagged that number and they knew it was a valid number. This is the same way. They just go through trying to disrupt people, hoping that somebody's going to click on their link or go look further on their link, or it may be just, to cause issues and disrupt the streams. And that's all it is. They're bots going out and randomly doing this stuff on any available channel that's streaming, especially live ones are the ones that they go after.
And I wish I had time to do this. And if like if you were moderating, I would say, hey Paul, can you look this up? How many people that are on YouTube? Like, we really have to think about how big the YouTube platform is, and if there's a bot or any kind of company that's trying to get traction and they know technology well enough to say, hey, let me send this bot out and get a click. You never know from their perspective as using bots or trolling how much traffic they can get by just going to your comments. Guess what? If you are a new content creator, Paul, this is what I'm telling people. Elizabeth, I want to share this because it is also a method to help grow your channel. What am I saying? I've gone into, people just made a new video. They uploaded the video and you see maybe 2 or 3 comments. This may be people that you're following, you're subscribed to. Guess what? If you go in and make a comment and you're 3rd, 4th, or 5th, everybody that comes behind you will begin to see your comment in that video. Sometimes they click on your name, wanting to know who you are, and potentially, if it's enough people coming by that particular video, guess what? You can get 1 or 2 subscribers by just commenting on somebody else's video. It is a one of those things, like if you're from a content creator, go to the big content creators, allow them to drop, hey man, I really love the video. People are gonna look at, who are you saying you really love the video? They wanna know that. So that same thing goes with trolls and bots. It is part of the environment. It is helpful for you to grow your channel, but it's also helpful for them to, siphon some of those people that may be interested of whatever is there, whatever is there. Sometimes you just never know. So great question. And Elaine, thank you for hanging in there with us, saying it's informative. Our job here today, and I got Paul probably a little longer than I thought, we both thought we would be on, but we had to come from one stream to the next, and we're still working here. And I do have another question. Paul Kelly has a question. Would you be willing to share an extract button setup of your Stream Deck and Loop Deck, please? So this was also a question in our last stream. I did not get to it. I think Valerie asked a question, and they want to know the setup with your Stream Deck. I don't know if you're able to show it right now, but if you can kind of give us an idea of how you're using basically the 3 systems. So you got 2 Stream Decks, 32 buttons. That's a lot of buttons, Paul. And then you have a Loop Deck back there. Tell me the method behind the madness.
The Loop Deck is kind of, I use it for, when I'm editing videos and, things in there and for other purposes. The Loop Deck doesn't really get used in my moderating activities per se, but the Stream Deck does. One of the things I'm working on, and it's going to go into, I'm going to post my YouTube channel, but I have a lot of videos up there about moderating from both the content creator's perspective, a moderator perspective, and how to, they're color coded. So if you see something that is yellow, it's a topic directed specifically at a content creator. If you see the thumbnail has a blue background, that is, I'm explaining how to do something. If you see the keyboard, is that right? It's a comment directed specifically to a moderator, more of, understanding how to moderate, stuff like that. So I have videos out there, and I'm about ready to work on one that goes in and showing my Stream Deck, how I set it up, how I use it, how you can set it up and do stuff like that. So that is coming.
Excellent, excellent. So guys, you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer on that video to come up. We had 2. So this is how, sometimes great ideas come from doing shows and people asking you questions. You say, you know what? I got that video cover your way. So definitely, thank you for asking that question. Now, Paul, I want to be sure that I got through all the questions I had for you because I thought I had some great questions, but some of the better ones are coming through the comment section here. So you guys continue to comment. We're gonna be here for just a little bit longer. I want to hold Paul because I know he has another show to kind of get to and
Actually,
moderate.
I no, I have no show tonight. So with after you, I'm done. So you can have me as long as you need me.
Gotcha, gotcha. So this is the question. Um, and you said this earlier, the different personalities of the show. When do you choose, Paul, to jump in comments and actually answer questions or make comments on your own as a moderator? So helping the content creators out, helping other moderators out. And I think you said this, but we may have to repeat how you choose to when you jump in and when you don't.
A lot of it is knowing the kind of understanding the moderator because from the standpoint of a content creator, if you're looking for people to make moderators, I mean, you could grab a friend or somebody but if you see somebody on your stream that is interacting, helping out, kind of, and you feel comfortable with, they're benefiting the stream, make them a moderator. You can always make somebody a moderator, and if they don't work out, you can take it back. It's not a lifetime achievement award. It can be given and it can be taken.
Right.
Uh, but you basically, what I tell new moderators are, you just kind of want to watch for a while. You want to kind of get an idea of what the interaction is and stuff like that. And, a lot of times the content creators will have this, may have a form, may have a document set up where they may talk with you and let you know what is allowed and not. There are some content creators that I've worked with that they want to answer the questions. They want to deal with stuff. There are other content creators where it's a simple question or something like that, or something that gets asked frequently, you can just answer it really quickly. But it's kind of you just kind of have to get the feeling and see what works with the moderator or with the content creator and what doesn't. And if you have questions, ask them. Send them a private message afterwards or something like that. But it's just something you kind of get a sense of over time. There's no really right or wrong answer. And sometimes you may answer a question and they may come back to you and say, I'd rather you not do that. I want to answer that. I've been on streams too. We were talking about blocking people. I'm not allowed to do anything. If there's an issue, I can time them out, but I have to let them know, you know, literally what I've done, why I've done it, and all that stuff. And they will take further steps from there. So it's a give and take with the content creator, but you just kind of get a feel of it over time.
I love it. I love it. Hey guys, we only have Paul for just a little bit longer. If you have a question, put a Q and then colon, ask your question. We're going to get it to him and so he can answer it and help us through what we're looking for or what you may be looking for as a moderator for your live stream. We already have shown you how important it is. We talked about titles and comments that could be using banned words, how you actually use that to help you. He has some resources. We've thrown the links up for that, including the links to his YouTube channel, which is color coded. Oh my gosh, like I'm still in that, Paul. That is such a great idea. You know what I do with thumbnails? It's kind of like when I get into a rhythm with a thumbnail, I like to go for that, and then I change my thumbnails and I go with a rhythm for that for a while, but I never thought about color coding them based off of an easy way to describe to people what the content is about. That is genius. Did you come up with that, or is that something that you've seen somewhere else?
I think I saw it. I'm not sure. And I think when I was going through it, I was trying to categorize things different ways, and I think I might have heard it, but it suddenly dawned on me as like, well, if I color code these or do each thumbnail different, then I can it's kind of like a binder where you have colored tabs that mean different stuff. So I just started incorporating it in with what I was doing.
Man, that is awesome. That is awesome. So I want to be sure that I get this last one. And I think we talked about trolls. How do you know when when you're working with someone, how do you know whether a streamer, host, content creator is a good fit for you as a moderator?
Generally speaking, I have seen their streams. Yeah, I've had some people that have asked me to moderate for them. I've watched their streams, and it's just not. It's not a. It's either not a topic that I. It's depending on what they want to do, but it's not. It might be a topic that I am not versed in, or it may be something that I don't necessarily see eye to eye with, or something like that. And I know that it would be it would be hard for me to be on a stream like that dealing with comments and stuff like that in something that is totally against, my
What you believe?
yeah. So if somebody wants you to do something, you kind of want to get an idea of what their streams are like, and sometimes I just have to say no because I don't have time.
Right.
But it's something that, listen to the little voices inside you, because most of the time they're right. Uh, but if I had to be on a show that was completely and totally the opposite of my belief system, it would be very difficult for me to moderate, because, again, I have to control my comments. I have to take my beliefs and everything out of that. And the more against your beliefs the stream is, it's harder for you to keep that kind of neutral personality, so to speak.
Got you. No, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think it makes a lot of sense. And just being able to share that, I think, is important. So I do have Valerie, I see your question, but Paul, I have one more question for you. What do you think, from a content creator and moderator, who should ask who from your opinion? Should the content creator be asking if someone is interested in being a moderator, or should the moderator go after the content creator?
The general rule of thumb is never give a moderator position to somebody that asks for it. You want to look for people that are active and involved in your stream.
That's good.
There's always exceptions to that, but the general rule of thumb is it's something you want to give to somebody. You have seen them, they have proven to you that they are worthy of the honor. It's not something that you want to give to somebody that's kind of like begging for it, for lack of a better word. I mean, that's a little strong, but that type of thing. Most of the time, content creators don't give it to somebody that asks for it, unless they know them or there's something more to it. Content creator may say, "Would you be interested in doing this?" And then you can say yes, and something like that. But yeah, as a rule of thumb, because most of the time when you give it to somebody that's asking for it, you've opened Pandora's box, because they're going to be causing you trouble,
I could.
and you'd
So
probably be taking it away.
I have an example. Like, there was a person that did ask at one point to be a moderator on one of the shows, and to be honest, I hadn't seen that person after they asked. I would love to have a conversation with the person, but if they're not engaged in the content and being someone that, as you already said, listening to the content and engaged because they're learning something, because the moderation is extra to that, because you're not going to
Yep.
moderate something, or you wouldn't be a good moderator on a topic that you don't like, because it'll be boring to you, or if you differ in opinion about it, or beliefs and all that kind of stuff. So that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. So quick question: moderators have access all across your channel, not just your stream. Your moderator has to be trusted. Is that true?
It depends. Now, it depends on the platform, and there's different level, like there's moderators and there's admins. On a Facebook group, a moderator has a lot of capabilities. They can remove people from the group, they can remove messages. There's a lot of power that they have when you make somebody a moderator on a Facebook. In YouTube, basically the only thing I can do, I could hide a user, which is the word, that's the most powerful thing that I can do. I can remove comments, and I can put people on a timeout. as a moderator on a YouTube channel, that's basically all I can do. I
Gotcha.
can't I can't really do anything. Now, as an admin, then that opens up a lot more power and stuff. But from a YouTube channel, there's not a whole lot I can do otherwise, other than just, banning people forever from your channel with you not knowing it. Um, Facebook is a whole nother animal because there's a lot more stuff that a moderator can do on a Facebook channel than they can, in other places. So every platform has their idiosyncrasies, and that's one of the things that I go into on my channel too, uh, and breaking down, once making a moderator for YouTube or Facebook or all this stuff, what powers are you giving them, when you do that?
Very good. Very good. Question from Valerie now. Valerie, I'm finally getting to it. What's the protocol when you have several moderators on a stream at the same time? How do you stay out of each other's way with spammers and comments? Very good question.
Um, I think over time you kind of learn who does what or what's going on, but it's like frequently with spam, it's like it's kind of like we're all like piranhas. We go after it, and whoever gets there first, gets it. Uh, but sometimes we do step on each other's toes. Sometimes we'll double post stuff and stuff like that. A lot of times, I will try to remove my post if somebody else has posted something, but you kind of get an idea of it. But it happens. You have a bunch of people doing kind of doing the same thing, and uh, you know sometimes things happen multiple times. So but like with doc streams and Ecamm streams, we all kind of know each other.
Hmm.
Uh, the one thing with Ecamm is we don't do anything in a vacuum. We have a Slack channel in the background that we are constantly commenting on. It's like if there's a situation on Facebook or even in a YouTube channel, something's going on, we'll post it there and say, this is what's going on. What do maybe what do you think? And we'll see how we handle it, or we'll give heads up to stuff. So we don't moderate in vacuums. We're constantly talking with each other and asking, and it's like there are times when I see something and I don't necessarily agree with the person's profile or something like this. And I'll say, I can't approve this person.
Right.
And I said, I know this is a me thing. Somebody else needs to take a look at this. Or I'll see something and I'll say, this doesn't quite look right to me. What do you think? So we do that kind of stuff back and forth. But, it helps to have that communication. And we also have kind of some guidelines that we follow for, what we can and we can't do, which helps out too. But it's
So
it's it's kind of, you kind of learn it amongst the group as you go on.
I get it. Question for that. As you're learning the group, when would be a good threshold, do you think, a size of a YouTube channel or a group where someone would need multiple moderators?
The I would say start adding moderators right away. The thing that happens is a moderator may not be on every, they may get sick, they may
Hmm.
have other commitments that they need to do, and they may not be on your channel. So
Gotcha.
if you're looking, kind of counting on a moderator to do something for you and they're not there, you don't have any moderators. So it's a good idea to get, a couple, two or three. If you have 100, it also depends on how busy your channel is. But if you have like maybe 100 people that normally tune in and your commenting is kind of not too crazy, you could probably get by with 5 or 6 to start with and then add more if you see that the need is there. But you want to have kind of a supply of moderators because they're not always going to be there. And if you want to always have moderators on your stream, you need to have a supply. You want to be careful that you don't, and it happens frequently where it looks like it's a wrench convention, on your stream
Right.
because there's
Right.
all these people with blue wrenches and you've got like, 8 moderators and 5 people watching. But,
Right.
it happens, but you just kind of have to figure out what works for you.
I've seen that for my name on a couple of channels, and it's like I didn't know that I was a moderator, or but hey, it is what it is. If I can help, I try to help out. But I don't even know. all the back end stuff, Paul. I'll be honest, I don't know all the back end stuff that moderators do. I've go in the comments. Try to help other content creators by adding comments to their stream, but I don't have a clue of what that looks like in studio.
Yeah. And it's as I tell moderators, you just have to be careful. It's like, is what, especially as a moderator, is what you're posting in the stream beneficial? Is it
Got
is
you.
it giving something back to the stream? I mean, we frequently will get, kind of kid back and forth and stuff like that. But a lot of people will come to the stream, oh, I'm late. I had a doctor's appointment. I mean, that's nice, but I mean, honestly, nobody really cares. It's like
Right.
we're not taking attendance. There's no, you're not going to get sent to the principal's office if you come into class late 3 times or something like that. It's not providing anything to the stream. So,
Right.
and as moderators, it's extremely important that you stop to think about what you're typing. How are you typing it? You need to be kind of cautious. You need to kind of not be sharp and, pointy, but also is what you're typing into the stream beneficial because what you type is going to set the pace for everybody else that starts commenting. So if you start going off on crazy tangents and typing really weird stuff, the whole stream is going to start following that over time.
Exactly. And you have to be aware of that because you can start like a whole new, like if there's like water running and then you just kind of go another direction, everybody will follow behind you. And that being said, Valerie's like, well, I have to take Paul's moderator course. The good thing about somebody like me, Paul, is I like to stay in my lane. Like there's so much to learn and do as a content creator. I would rather spend my time, Valerie, building the community and then having community members come on and be moderators. And I could kind of show them what Paul is doing and have them figure it out. Because if someone is willing to spend the time, like Paul, to figure it out, you got a great moderator. Now, if you have to tell them everything to do and you got to spoon feed them, I don't know if that's a good person to kind of work because they have to be someone that's thinking on their own because I'm thinking about the interview. So I'm not thinking about moderation or how someone else is monitoring what's going on in the stream. So have there been times, Paul, like after streams where you had to kind of do like what's they call it? They call it Monday Night Football. Now,
A
or
debrief?
a debrief on
Yeah.
what happened, how you responded, how the creator responded, and what we could do better next.
Yep. Frequently, I mean, it depends on the stream and what's happened, but we frequently will do that on the Ecamm side. If there's been a situation going on, it will be discussed in Slack. The same thing we also have a Discord channel where when we take actions like in Facebook, if we remove somebody's comment or we ban a person, we take that information, we post it in a special channel on Discord for moderators that basically says this is what we did and this is why we did it. So if that ever comes back, a customer comes back to Ecamm and said, I was banned or this was happening, Katie can go in there and see exactly why we did stuff. So we do that frequently. We'll post stuff about situations and how we handled it and stuff we do, but we frequently do debriefs like that, on several channels that I work with.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And while we were talking, of course, the principal was late to class. Kathy Walker says, hey, I was totally late today, sending myself to the office. And we just talked about that. And also, this is what people do. That's, I know, is Doc's pet peeve is when they're on a live and they say they got to go.
Yeah.
Just go. It is okay.
Yeah.
Listen, with
There was
live
one
stream,
thing there's one thing I also want to add in there too. When you talked about you don't want to know, you don't want to know the nitty-gritty of being a moderator. And that's perfectly okay. One thing that I suggest to content creators is kind of, and that's one of the reasons why I color coded my series, is you might wanna go back in and look at some of my streams that I talk about how many moderators do I need, what happens when I give when you give somebody a wrench or you make somebody a moderator on a specific channel, what powers that they have, what things can they do? Because you need to understand what you're giving that person the ability to do, what they can and
That's
what they
good.
can't do.
That's good.
So sorry, I have a tail popping up on screen here.
No, it's okay, but
Uh,
that's good stuff, Paul. I mean, it just makes sense, and I appreciate you saying that or stopping me and saying, "Hey, there are some things that you need to know about moderation or having a moderator," and that is so true. Like the reason why I said my statement is sometimes we could go um, and want to dive down and know all the details and nitty gritty
yep,
about a particular part. And there's some general information we all need to
yep,
have. But I do want to be in a space where I'm working with people and I trust that they're doing a
yep,
particular job and
yep,
getting into the details for their
yep,
job as they are helping me.
yep.
Because if I have to know all this stuff, I'm a know it all too. Like if I have to know it all, I always think like if I know it, why do I need you? And yes, you need extra hands, but sometimes if you don't handle it the right way as a content creator or someone that people are helping, you could be a hindrance or really get on people's nerves by telling them all the stuff that you know. I like coming off a little bit of I don't know because I'm working over here trying to build something. You guys could help me in this area. If you could be the expert in that area, then that'll really help me out. That's my attitude. Like, not that I
Yeah,
don't know some general stuff, but hey, I really could use an expert because I'm not.
yeah, and the whole hidden user thing on YouTube, there are a lot of content creators don't know how powerful, and like I said, it starts to lead into the comments, and if you don't know that I've hidden somebody, you know, you don't know. I could be removing a close friend of yours or a family member, something like that. But that is a very powerful command. And there are some channels where it's like that is not allowed. You cannot hide a user. Period.
Wow.
You can time them out forever, but you are not allowed to hide a user. Uh, so it's things like that to be aware of. And I always tell content creators too, every once in a while, go back into your YouTube studio and check your hidden user list just to make sure that there may not be somebody on there that you don't want to be hidden.
Okay, I like that, and I will give another one. I was thinking you would say go back and check the comments, because that's something that through the stream show I've had to do. Think our leader Katie was like, "Hey, you mind taking a look at this?" Because sometimes you do a live stream every week and you have the live comments, but guess what? Comments come in throughout the week as well that need to be
Yep.
replied to, and comments are definitely needed. So Paul has a really, really good question here. I was thinking about asking this question myself, but Paul did a better job of putting it together. Mistakes/pitfalls to avoid stories to share or any advice you got about moderation. Sometimes Doc will tell you this. Sometimes I don't even know the question to ask. Like ask the question you don't know to ask. So that being said, can you help Paul and myself out?
Yeah, I think, it's a learning process, and I have learned along the way. Even in my YouTube channel, I'm redoing some of the videos the series I did back in April because things have changed, and I've learned a lot more stuff and approaching things differently. But it's just like keep your personal opinions out of chat.
Okay.
Um, don't go there, because that can also cause problems, but they're not there to hear your political opinions or whatever else is going on. You're just there to you're kind of a traffic cop. You're kind of there to help the flow, keep the sorry, I have a cat. He
That's
wants
okay.
dinner. Um, to keep the conversation going and keep the conversation on track. You're not there to express your opinions and beliefs on stuff. And I see a lot of content creators that go down that pathway. And then you also need to learn how to respond to people. You don't better be crass. You want to be supportive to people. You want to be helpful to people. You got to be careful that you're not being sharp or cutting people down. And we've all made that mistake.
Right.
things like that. And don't feel don't go into things thinking you know it all, and you're the boss. It's not your channel. You're there to help. It's a content creator's channel, or it's, in this case, it's Ecamm's channel. And
Right.
so, you know, you're reflecting back to whoever's channel it is. So you've got to be careful with what you say, your personality, and how you present yourself, basically.
I love it. Mr. Moderator Paul Duncan himself has come to the stream show and provided tons of value with 2 different streams tonight. So thank you, Paul. Anything else you want to say as far as ways that people can get in contact with you or products that are available that you have?
I have I'll post the link to my YouTube. I have my YouTube channel, which I have my videos in. Uh, the other thing that I'm going to be adding next year, I've been approached by some content creators and some other people. I'm going to be creating an actual course that will ultimately end up with a certification program. At the end,
I love it,
you'll
Paul.
be technically a certified moderator.
Love it.
Because I've had content creators that say, I don't have time to change people. I like the way that you're doing stuff. Can you train my people? So we're working on that, to have that happen. Info at thepaulduncan.com is a way to reach me also. And that's on my YouTube channel. But, I have my store. I post that one again. And, things are growing in there too. Um, but, my blocked word list, since we implemented the block word list on Ecamm, Docs, and Docs Show and other stuff, it has tremendously cut down on the amount of spam uh, and or junk postings that are getting into the stream. We're not seeing nearly as much as we did before that, and then the channel IDs are also lowering the noise volume too. There is always going to be some getting through or something like that, but it has dramatically dropped the problems, especially on the words getting posted in.
I love it. Paul, I was actually throwing up those links so everybody could have it. You have been such a, like, this show has been great. Now, I mean, I'm telling you it's been great because I'm able to see how much retention that we have on people viewing this and watching it, and then the likes that we have. Thank you guys so very much for allowing us to know that you appreciated the information. But Paul, I gotta tell you, thank you again for this information. As a live streamer, I've been in some situations where I didn't have a moderator. And oh my goodness, it is not what you want because it affects your ability to be professional sometimes when you're trying to train, you're trying to help people, and you have to stop and go into the studio to then change something that if you had somebody there, it could be done in a couple of seconds. So what you're doing and what other moderators in the Ecamm family are doing, or moderators across the board, is really a help to the content creator. So thank you again for all that you do for
Thank you.
Ecamm and all the work that you put in. And when I say it's my pleasure, Paul, it's been my pleasure to have you on the show today. I got him on the screen and helping people. So please go to all of his links, go to his YouTube channel, get the block list. Anything Paul has, I need you to pick up so you'll have it as well, and help develop moderators because it helps you as the content creator as well. So Paul, thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Everybody that's watching this, even in the replay, thank you for watching till the end, and God bless you guys. I will see you next Sunday night. I have, I got a good one coming through, and I'm not going to let it out just yet, but just check us out. We have some good things coming next Sunday night that you don't want to miss. I'm bringing some more people that have some products and services they provide that can help you as a content creator. I love it. This is the Stream Show. I'm DJ Strick. I'll see you guys next week. Hey, this is DJ Strick, and I would like to thank you for watching another edition of the Stream Show.